Hey everybody, we are back with season 3 of Masters of Sex. Brett Erlich, Alonso Duralde, season 3, episode 1, Parliament of Owls, which I looked up. A Parliament of Owls is like a murder of crows.
Right.
It's the collective term.
Which is weird because parliaments frequently lack wisdom.
Do
Do you know what I mean by that?
ironic.
Particularly the Duma of Poland, which needed completely unanimous voting in order to pass any laws, which is true.
I like the parliaments where they fight. Like, you ever seen those? Like, in South
And
Korea,
I don't even know if
think.
it's called the Duma of Poland. Let me put it that way. The Duma is definitely Russia. I'm not quite sure what the Polish
You're
one.
faking it, but no, I love when a brawl breaks out. I think our Congress could should maybe have a state clear the benches.
Absolutely. Taiwan does it a lot.
Totally.
And there's definitely, there was a punch thrown once in Alabama because he said something bad about my mama.
Ooh.
And he literally punched him.
That's how you govern. All right, so we're up to 1965, and we've got kind of two parallel stories happening. Masters and Johnson are about to present their long-in-the-making book of human sexual response to a select group of journalists and, I guess, academics.
Yes, it seemed like that, or at least like academic journal editors.
Sure, right, exactly. Trade journals at the Ritz-Carlton Hotel in Boston. Flashing back to months earlier, where Dr. Masters has received his galley of the book that no one gets to touch.
Right.
Because Virginia's going to bend those pages. So he's got it by himself. It's ostensibly a family vacation at the lake, but he just wants to work. And so we see a lot of, just in kind of a capsulated form, this family dynamic where obviously no one is hiding anything anymore. Libby clearly knows that Virginia and Bill are a thing. They go on vacation together. Their kids hang out together. It's a very, modern family.
There are definitely some really smart decisions made in terms of how to communicate the decisions they've made on where season 3 begins, how much time has passed, and the idea of a tradition, which can be something we've done for years, not necessarily saying how many years, but this is a thing we do, which is this is the rhythm
it's been going on,
And also the frame story of coming back and jumping to the presentation. I think those were some really good decisions made. And we do get to see kind of the where they're at as a family, and I do like that.
Yeah, the kids are older now, and so you've got Virginia's husband has been raising them for the most part, not to her liking for the most part.
Right, and it's weird because his marriage has fallen apart.
Right.
And he
blames the kids for it.
Right, which is strange. I don't know. It's difficult because definitely we wanted to, in the previous season, communicate the hardship that her job has created.
Right.
And something that's very painful for her that has manifested out of, the decisions that she's made. And then season 3 having a little feeling of all right, let's just erase that because maybe it works better for us to have her with her family going forward.
Well, I don't know. I mean, ostensibly this show is based on actual people. I don't know how closely they're hewing to the story of the real.
At the end of the episode, for a second, flashed some message about the children.
Oh, really?
Did you see that?
No,
I
I
saw
didn't.
that. It was it felt so fast. It was more like at the end of a TV airing of a movie. Where they have to get to Family Guy at the end of the TBS, and it's just everybody's name really fast.
Yeah.
I think what it communicated was the events that befell these children are fictionalized.
Well,
probably just like the naked stuff.
I was going to say, given the drunky naked stuff, that's probably not a bad disclaimer to have. So you've got her older son now who has been kind of drifting and not holding down a job, has been having an affair with some local single mom, and now wants to join the army, which obviously in 1965 is a more loaded proposition than usual.
Right.
And then the younger daughter, who is 15, and no one wants to have the sex talk with her, and unfortunately, Bill gets stuck making it, and he makes the mistake of calling her an adult, which is apparently the worst thing you can do to a 15-year-old, because she then decides that it gives her license to booze it up and try and seduce her not even stepdad, her mom's boyfriend, whatever.
Right. So something that we can very easily have assumed from the get-go in a show about sex and studying the nature of human sexual interaction by like experts
Sure.
who also have children.
Yeah. The kids are jaded.
The experts will have dysfunctional
Sure.
children when it comes to how they relate to sex.
Well, and I mean, in general, it's, obviously this show has spent a lot of time on Bill's own sexual dysfunction, his inability to maintain an erection, or to, the way he sort of compartmentalized so much of his relationship with Virginia and tried to pass it off as, oh, we're researching, know. So these people have always been a mess and will continue to be a mess. We're seeing that Bill is not a physically abusive father, but he is as distancing and he is doing as much of a number on his own children as his dad did on him.
Right, specifically because the child himself, the son particularly, the oldest, does not have a frame of reference of how much worse it is to get hit by your dad. So that every bit of distancing that Bill's doing is the worst thing that you could do with, the worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
So it is weird. I thought the kid gave a pretty good performance.
No,
because
he was
kids
great.
can ruin scenes like that.
Sure, yeah.
But definitely Bill trying so hard to not hit his kid that he's not having any contact.
Yeah,
with
he's
his
also not
kid.
hugging his kid.
Yeah,
So that's a messy situation. The daughter seems lovely. I don't know when she's going to get messed up by this crazy household, but give her time.
Yeah.
And then of course Libby now. No direct mention of her lover from last season, the guy that she knew from Core. I was going to say Snick, but that wasn't right. Core. But she is popping Mother's Little Helpers every day and concerned about the civil rights workers. So I guess we're meant to infer that this guy is like signing up voters in Mississippi or something, and she's freaking out about it.
Right. When she was popping the pills, she had that moment where she took too much and was very freaked out about any mention. And she was kind of like making up or mentioning without any provocation what's happening in the South,
Right.
and just losing it.
Right.
I like that. I like what we saw. There were some little touches that we also saw, in addition to her being the most stressed out person in the world, rushing Virginia's child to the hospital when he's like, no, I'm good.
I'm okay, yeah.
I like that we have the manic side of it, but also the little moment where we saw their child doing hula time with Virginia outside.
Sure, the pang
That
of like
little bit. I like that.
Yeah, no, that was a lovely scene. I liked that they were all sort of in it at the same time. That kind of deep focus with that. I'm assuming that they've been kind of teasing this sort of like Libby Virginia coupling that I don't think is going to happen.
I think it's absolute
That's too
poop.
weird.
I think it's poop.
Yeah, I'm not buying that. But I thought the press conference was interesting, and I kind of liked the twist ending, that the guy who was asking them all the hard questions. Do you not buy that?
I don't like the end of this. I didn't like the end of this at all. Because here's the thing. I'm trying to follow my enjoyment of this series. And I can very honestly say, I liked the first season, hated the second season.
Really?
I just thought the
Bibbs
second...
too. That's why he's not back. I thought the second season was great.
That's fine. For me, the second season was just, there's certain things that happen in the show, certain cadences that they always come back to, and just the idea of the study. The study to me just didn't feel like big enough, and how long do you need to carry this study on before you publish it? Apparently,
clearly 12 years, we know.
But 12 years, it didn't seem important enough. We were also proving that other people are doing similar things. The world is changing outside of it.
I don't know. I thought they did a really good job of sort of pointing out, okay, here's what Kinsey did, and here's what these other folks are doing. But their whole that whole breakthrough about, it's not all physical. That psychiatry applies to this, and there's mental blocks in place that can affect physical performance, which we now sort of is a duh moment. But for 1950 whatever, when they were figuring out, it's no, that's a huge deal.
Right. But in relation to all that, the end where Libby and Virginia kiss.
No,
I'm just so it almost feels like, and I don't know if this is any fault of them, but it almost feels like this is just we almost went a whole episode without like something provocative. We saw the kid having sex for a second.
Yeah, and when the daughter gets naked too, I mean, in front of Bill, that moment, I don't. I mean, I buy it in context. I don't buy it as the springboard of a larger thing, and I kind of feel like Showtime overplayed it by featuring it a lot in the run up to this season. Like, ooh, they're gonna have this illicit lesbian affair, What the ending I was talking about was the reveal where
that
the reporter
felt like a little bit. So yeah, we had the American Medical Journal or some high-ranking, very reputable editor / critic who had been giving them a tough time the whole way through, and at the end basically said the reason why I was giving you such a hard time, it was a ruse, my friend, to make you, because I believe this is correct. And I get it, but it definitely felt too like tie a bow.
It's a little cutesy, but I bought it because I think this is they were working in an area that people were very inclined to not to take seriously.
Yeah.
And so they had to be able to defend themselves. And obviously the fact that they're now claiming that Virginia has her BA and is working on a master's and maybe a PhD when really she is still trying to finish. That we may see some blowback on that in the coming episodes because so much rides on their legitimacy to make the research legitimate.
Right. Yeah. I get that.
I hear what you're saying.
But we've definitely sown some seeds.
Sure.
Specifically with
as it were.
Yeah, exactly. First, Virginia not finishing her Masters of Sex because she was given 3
not even her
months off.
Bachelors of Sex.
Her Bachelors of Sex. Yeah, she was given some time off and she didn't do it, but also the fact that she's been running to throw up.
Oh, right, yes, I forgot about that.
She seems like some seeds have been sown in her, and from forth her fatal loins might become a child.
Yes,
the physical manifestation of and their legacy.
Her insides are a place where his seed did find purchase.
There you go.
He's such a great dad. It's so wonderful that he's bringing another life into this world. I think you're right. I think they've definitely set up some stuff that they're going to take us to some interesting places this season. I hope you don't give up on the show. I think it's...
I hated the words "the study," and now it's the book, and I'm fine with that.
Exactly. They're mixing it up.
Yeah.
That's what counts. All right. We will return next week with more Masters of Sex. We hope you'll be with us.